My name is Cricket. I'm with the Peña Adobe Historical Society, and today we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the dedication of the Peña Adobe Park. The park was dedicated June 3rd, 1967, and today we have descendants of the Vaca and the Peña families, the original pioneers that settled in this area in 1841.
I'm Augustine. I'm the mayor of the city of Vacaville, and here we are at the Peña Adobe in Vacaville. It's a lot longer than the 50 years that it's celebrating today, because that was really the official dedication of this as a historical site. In historic terms, you know, it was really the beginning of Vacaville. This is where the homestead for the Peña family was, way back in, I think it was 1842, if I remember right. And so this is one of the oldest buildings in all of Solano County. If not the oldest, the second oldest. It's one of the top two. And you know, it's significant in fact that people were settled here long before we came, and we're trying to preserve that memory and make sure that people understand the significant contribution that was made by the Peña family, as well as the Vaca family too, because they were here at the same time.
My name is Cecelia Peña, and I am the 5th generation from the original family who came here. So Juan Felipe and Isabella Peña came here in 1841. They came with their family of 6, 5 boys and a girl. They walked here from New Mexico. They left from Abiquiu, New Mexico, and walked all the way from New Mexico to California, and then walked up the coast of California to claim their land here. This was part of General Vallejo's land that he acquired because he was in charge of the secularization of the Sonoma mission. They were very interested in having people populating this part of the territory. This was pretty much the furthermost part of the territory. We have the Americans pending involvement. There were the Russians and other countries that were interested in California, France included. Of course, we know that the United States was the country who ended up with California, but at that point, it was kind of up in the air. So this family had a land grant of over 44,000 acres. This originally had been Indian land, which the Spanish, when they set up the missions, had intended half of it to go to the Native Americans. This house has stayed in the family for a very long time. The youngest child, a girl, inherited this property from her parents. So she had this house and the land around it. She had about 1,000 acres that she farmed. She hired my grandfather to run the ranch, and that's my second connection to this house. So my father and his sister were born here, and they grew up helping farming here. My father hated it. He would leave to go down to the Bay Area, which he finally ended up by doing. So I'm back up here to be a docent and to tell my family story.
So I'm John Vasquez. I was born in Fairfield, lived there for about 3 days, but I've been a Vacaville resident all my life. I actually lived across the freeway now for the first couple of years of my life in a trailer park. It was called La Paloma, and it was a little restaurant trailer park, and that's where my parents lived before they got enough money to buy a house in downtown Vacaville. But my family's been involved in the community nearly all my life. I can't remember when we haven't been. My family's been in the Vacaville parade the Fiesta Days parade since 1964. I marched in the very first one in '58. So I've kind of grown up that history is an important part of the community, an important part of my life, and have worked to try to preserve it also. As a youngster, I collected things about Vacaville. I continue to collect things about Vacaville. Peña Adobe is just merely a reflection of that rich Spanish-Mexican history. You know, part of the land grant that was given to the Vacas and the Peñas that became what Vacaville is today. And we have a noted poet, Edwin Markham, who wrote about the early days of the Peña and the Vaca estates here, about herding cattle and branding cattle. So, and there's a Vaca Peña High School. There's a Edwin Markham Grammar School, and there's a Willis Jepson, who was a noted botanist in the state of California. All who grew up around here, all who understand the environment and the history of this community. So I couldn't but anything else but be supportive of all that goes on. And today's event is just another milestone in Solano County's rich history and in Vacaville's rich history.
Hi, I'm Patty Dumont, and I currently live in Sacramento. I'm from Davis. This is my mom, Dolores Dumont. We are part of Jesus Peña's family, one of the original settlers for this area. He was married to Lucy Vaca?
Lucy Zuniga.
Lucy Zuniga. And our whole family with Jesus was mostly in Davis. He had 4 daughters and one son. Andrea, Juanita, Clara, Narcisa, and Tom. And I am sitting right here in the plaid outfit. My sister is next to me. My mom is here next to my grandmother, Juanita, Ita, we always called her Ita, and Narcisa, and we always called her Duck. Don't know why, but that was what her nickname was.
It's strange to come down here after 50 years because I stand around and I look and go, what was it really like when they were here? You know, was it, I'm surely there were no houses and cars. There was just land. What were the animals out there? Were the elk, bear? My grandfather tells stories of when winter came. You didn't go to Sacramento from Vacaville to Davis to Sacramento. You had to go down to the big river, cross the ferry, and go in behind. And he said when he was growing up, there were still deer and bear in the valley. There was no Highway 80 out there. It was just, if you wanted to go someplace, you loaded up the wagons and hitched up the horses or the oxen and whatever and moved on.